I figured out how to make this happen. My YouTube is like, I guess I can only use it on certain things, so it's kind of a pain in the ass right now. So I'm figuring out which devices I can stream from YouTube and which ones I can't. This is coming from my computer and my webcam on my computer, so it might not be the best, but we'll do what we can do. Okay, so last night you guys joined me and we went ahead and got all of our cabbage quartered and brined. And what we did is we used a brine, like a salt water that we used with a Korean salt. And this is a really coarse salt, kind of fluffy, big, thick salt. And we used, like, I think 16 cups of water and a cup and a half of salt. And then we went ahead and just like went individually in between all the cabbage and pulled all the individual leaves forward and put a little bit of salt in between all the leaves to try to get this white part a little more pliable. And you can see like it's bendy now. It would have snapped before had we done that. So now that it's nice and flexible, it's time to make the actual kimchi paste. So we're going to start with that. Now, there's a lot of components to this, and there's a lot of things that you're going to need. You're going to need a red pepper flake or powder. This is what I use, goragunchi. I can never pronounce this. You can get this on Amazon. And it's, I can't remember the price, but this is like just a coarse red pepper flake. And if you can speak Korean, Young red pepper powder. That is what I'm using. I am using a fish sauce, a Korean fish sauce. This is going to be backwards for you. You can sometimes find that in the grocery stores. A lot of times you can't. I ordered that also on Amazon. This is a sweet rice flour. Another thing this is a necessity that you need for this recipe. You can find that on Amazon as well. Most of the grocery shopping that I do for ethnic foods, I find in Amazon. I also have a little bit of kelp here. This seaweed is kind of a, it's you don't have to, but I think it adds just a little bit more flavor to your rice mixture. So what I've done is in this pot right here, while we're chopping, I'm going to get started on making this rice mixture because it has to cook and boil for like 5 to 8 minutes, and then it needs to cool down before we can add it to the rest of our stuff. So I'm going to let it cook and cool down while we're getting our vegetables prepared. So right now I'm just going to get this going. And in this is only a cup and a half of water. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw in some kelp just to get it to when it gets to the boiling temp. And then I'm going to pull the kelp out. But I'm just going to put like a piece in there just to give it a little bit extra flavor. So that is going to come to a boil. I'm going to let that sit, do its thing. In this bowl, I have prepared 3.5 tablespoons of this fish sauce that I have. And then I'm using just a natural sea salt, not the Korean sea salt, because it asks for a fine sea salt. So I use just a regular Morton's natural sea salt for that. The reason that we're doing that is because this is giant baby daikon radish. It's going to get chopped up into little matchsticks. And we're going to put him and our carrot matchsticks into this brine mixture. And we're going to mix that together because it's going to be a lot more pliable that way and easier to stuff all of our cabbage leaves. So this recipe, you'll have to bear with me a little bit because they measure everything in like ounces. And so I've just got to go, instead of saying, one of these things, there's a certain number of ounces. And I want to stick pretty close to this recipe just because I did this last time and it worked out almost perfectly. So if I can continue that, that would be awesome. You won't have a lot of leftover anything, and that's what I want. So with this radish, it wants 19 ounces of daikon radish. And I have no idea how many 19 ounces is. But first thing I'm going to do is clean my knife. Make sure it is ready to go. And it looks like my water is heating right up. Now I'm going to cut this thing into just like the same size as my matchsticks would be for my carrots. And then I'll go from there. So I'm going to cut off the ends of these just because they're a little dry. Cut them in halves, like this. And then I'm just going to start slicing these babies up. Be very careful. Kevin just recently sharpened my knife, so it's quite a lot sharper than it was. Don't want to lose a finger. I'm sure there's a much better way to cut these into little tiny pieces, but I just kind of go through them a little at a time and just give them a chop. And then while I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and I have a food measuring. I have a scale right here, and I use it most of the time for hair color, but today we use it for actual food. 19 ounces. What a weird number. 19 ounces. Why can't you just said like 20 ounces? Give it a good old round number. Maybe we will anyway. I'm going to have an idea of how much that is here shortly. I hope you can't hear Kevin screaming at his game down there. All right, let's see how many ounces that is. 1.85 ounces. So just that 1/2 of this. 1.85 ounces. So we have a ways to go. Meantime, water's heating up. Looks like we got a boil going on, which is what you want. And I'm going to reach in there and pull that kelp out. I just wanted him in there for some flavor. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of our, I just want to make sure that's right. Where are you? Rice flour. Yeah, 2 tablespoons. I'm correct. Okay, good. So here's our rice flour. I've got a little piece cut here. It's probably going to be a disaster. Let's see. There's 1. Ooh, that's a lot. Save the paste. All right, that's 2. It doesn't take much. Now this is going to be turned into a kind of a gel. I'm going to turn this down just slightly and then start stirring this in. And you'll see this kind of turning into this gel state. So I'm trying to get all the lumps and stuff out of it. I'm going to switch to a whisk. Provided I can get one out. Here we go. All right, try to get out some of those lumps. And just whisk away. So this says to boil for 5 to 8 minutes. So I'm keeping an eye on the timer right now. Smush those down in there. All right. Let's go. Turn that down just a little bit because even though it's boiling, it is boiling. So I want to just make sure that that doesn't get too much. That looks beautiful. It's doing exactly what it should, which is just nice little rolling boil. Meantime, I got a lot of radish to cut up here, so. It might take most of this radish. And that's a big boy, so all of this stuff is what makes up the basically stuffing of your kimchi. And it's quite delicious. I've never had a daikon radish before I made kimchi. I wonder how else you could eat this thing. Let's see here. Hey. What? I'm trying to read that comment. So we're thinking about doing a music stream a little later on Twitch. And then maybe doing one tomorrow on YouTube. So if you guys are down for that, let me know. I got a new keyboard to test out. Kevin got me a new keyboard. He actually bought me one out of spite because he's so angry at how heavy my keyboard is. I've never weighed it, but it is a beast. I bet it's like 50 pounds, close to. That's a heavy son of a bitch. I feel his pain, literally. But to me, it was like necessary. It's like, I gotta have this keyboard. Because it used, like, Mo 8s were like the thing for the piano sound back in the day, but not no more. I have a Yamaha MX88 now, weighted keys, and only 14 glorious pounds. So that is much nicer on my back and our relationship. Because I think he was headed for divorce if I continue to insist on that keyboard. Pretty sure. That's rice mixture is looking good. We are 3 minutes into our boil, so we still got a ways to go. Let's see, I'm going to read some comments. Hey, Purple Peacock Nova Feather Metal Witch Classical Lassie Home Cooking Fairy Lady. This is metal. It's what you do at live shows. Oh, thank you. I've got a knife in my hand. That's also metal. What's up? Twister's Music. No kidding. What are you doing? I am not playing Call of Duty. I have shit to do. Yeah, Kevin. Kevin is watching also, so hello, Kevin. So that is looking good. A lot of stuff I already just kind of prepped in advance just because it takes so long. And I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to log on here and just watch me cutting vegetables for hours. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you do want to watch me cut vegetables for hours. I wonder if any like cooking shows, like hosts, have ever been like on a cooking show and then just chop their finger like right there on live TV. I've never seen that happen. I'm sure it happens though. I mean, like on cooking competitions they do, but I've never seen like on a cooking show if somebody's ever just like chopped their finger. But if it was going to happen, probably going to happen with me because I am that kind of girl. All right, we're 5 minutes into our boil. It looks good. Looks happy. I'm going to give it just another minute or two and then kill it. And then let's see where we at on our... This is 2 big old chunks. How much does this weigh? We're going for 19 ounces here, friends. Currently, we are at I'm just going to get an idea and then I'm going to cut it. Yeah. 2.7 ounces. So not quite 3 ounces. It's going to take this whole beast. So I'm just going to consider this whole thing it. I'm doing the whole freaking thing. All right. I'm not even going to weigh it anymore. I'm just going to go for it. You are looking good. I'm killing the heat to that. It's going to sit there and cool because I can't do anything. I can't add anything to it until it is completely cooled. I learned this the hard way the first time doing it. You know, like you read the instructions and then you go through it and then you always realize, you know, in the middle of making it that you should have done it a little bit differently. So I'm trying to remember those mistakes that I made last time and not repeat the same mistake. They weren't really like mistakes, just a learning thing. It's like the kimchi was still amazingly delicious. And we ate every bit of it. It made 6 quart jars. I guess you should know that because you're going to need 6 jars for storing. And I stored mine in airtight glass containers, just like on the countertop for 2 days. And then I let it, and then I cut it up and put it in jars. But I didn't put it in the jars like right away. I guess I could. To me, it just seemed like when you were stuffing the leaves, it was just easier to like fold it over and keep it all in there so that it could start to ferment before I tried to cut it and, you know, keep everything inside the jar. So I just did it that way just to start. And it worked out good. So I'm probably going to do that again. After it had sat in there for 48 hours, it was all kind of like, it became one. So it just became easier to like chop up the kimchi and add it to the individual quart jars. And then that's how we stored it. And we stored ours in the refrigerator. I guess you could probably keep this on the countertops or in a cool, like dark place. You know, it's probably better. But I just kept it in the fridge and honestly ended up giving away quite a lot of it just because I didn't know how much kimchi can one eat? I don't know. We ate it for a couple days and Kevin's like, oh my God, I'm gonna shit myself skinny. Which isn't a bad thing, I guess, unless starting to feel the burn. I didn't have the same effect on me. It was just Kevin. So, but that could mean several things too. I don't party as hard as Kevin. He's kind of like special. So maybe most people will be fine unless you need unless you party like Kevin, and then you might not be fine. But if you do party like Kevin and you're looking for a way to lose weight, kimchi is great for you. Mainly I started doing this because after all these years, like I remember my mom telling me about this. Like she started getting adult acne. Like I had pretty clear skin always. I've always had really good skin, but just lucky. But then mom started telling me about, you know, as she got older, her skin, so she started getting adult acne. And I was like, well, how strange, you know, I wonder why that would happen. Because, you know, you make it through all your adolescent years and didn't really have a whole lot of problems with that. And then, like, you get older and it starts to happen. I'm like, well, you can't really blame hormones at that point. So I was like, I wonder what it is that does that. So finally it happened to me. And then I started getting this, like my skin started breaking out. And at first I just attributed it to the massive amounts of makeup that I had to wear on stage and I'm sweating and I'm like, you know, it's probably just my pores getting clogged up with makeup and junk. So, and I was, I started that Twitch stream during COVID, so I was wearing makeup like even during the day, which I never did before. And I was like, maybe my skin just can't handle this, maybe it's just too much. But eventually I started looking into it, and they're like, there's a few things that could attribute to this adult acne. And one of them was gut health, because you're not getting enough probiotics. And the other one was that, the amount of alcohol that you were drinking. I mean, I'm not out there just like trying to set any records for alcohol, but I'm also playing shows, nearly every day or every other day. And you're always taking shots with friends and, whatever. So, I mean, they're like, do you drink every day? They make it sound like, yeah, I wake up in the morning and I'm looking for a bar to hit, which isn't the case. But I've played rock shows in bars. So naturally, you're doing a shot or two with people during the show. And then you're doing your after, the show's over, you're having a drink, with the band or whatever. And I was like, shit, maybe I'm an alcoholic. I don't know. So they said that when you drink a lot, your capillaries in your skin, like under your cheeks, will start to break. And you'll see like, the veins and stuff in your face kind of start to protrude more. And that was definitely starting to happen. So I was like, holy shit, maybe I need to dial this back a little bit. So I quit drinking altogether for 2 months and then really limited it. So now I'm like, I'll maybe have like a shot every, I don't know, once a week or something. I might have a beer once a week. I'm not really drinking anymore. So, so I did that. And then they also said, of course, the drinking and the liver health kind of go hand in hand. And liver health is also another reason why you would start to have this skin issue. So I'm like, but here's the funny thing about it. My mom doesn't drink at all. Like never. Not ever. Like not a glass of wine with dinner. Like not ever. So I don't totally think that this is all alcohol related, because obviously my mom has it. It could be hereditary. But it was just like, let's just eliminate the things that are making it flare and see what I can do from there. So I started doing this just to see if it would help at all, and there was like an immediate improvement, because the one thing that kimchi has is tons of probiotics. So if you're looking for something to kind of help your skin, anything with turmeric, anything that's an anti-inflammatory, anything that has tons of probiotics, that's what you're looking for. And I did start taking a probiotic supplement during like every day as well, just to kind of help out. The other thing that I realized was a lot of the foods I were eating that I eat every day, because like most of what we get at shows when they bring us a rider is a pizza or a burger, right? And red meat is a huge inflammatory. So like that causes inflammation. And some people can handle that just fine, and some people can't. I mean, I grew up on a cattle ranch, so obviously I was like, yeah, red meat. Like I'm not a vegetarian or anything that, I'm not here to coach you on anything, because like I said, some people can do that. Some people have to do that. Our guitar player Taylor is, he has to eat vegetarian. Every time he eats meat, he gets violently ill. He's also pretty lactose intolerant, so he's doing it because his body insists upon it. So sometimes people just have to do that because that's what their body needs. I'm not here to advocate anything, but when you're seeing the signs of things that are going wrong in your body, it's giving you all the hints. Listen to it, check it out. mean, my parents are like, when I go home and I'm like, yeah, I eat pretty much all vegetables now and some chicken and fish. Other than that, I don't really eat a lot of meat. And they're just like, but it's not because, I dislike it. It's because my body said so. All right, I'm putting this radish right here into this brine mixture that I've made with fish sauce, 3.5 tablespoons of fish sauce, and about a tablespoon of just regular sea salt. And I'm working on a real small cutting board today. By the way, did you see my new cutting board I got the other day? I'm very excited. And it's being used right now because I'm about to do some Korean pickled cucumbers. So it's over there. I'm holding the cucumbers. When I come home, I want to cook. I want to cook because, like I said, I've been living off those pizzas and burgers. That's what you get out there. So I need a freaking vegetable. Save me. Almost done with this baby. He's a big boy. I had some music going on. My refrigerator plays music, which is the coolest shit ever. And I had some stuff going on, and I was really into it. But I thought YouTube might get me on a copyright claim, so I shut it off, which makes the background kind of boring. I wish I could add that on as I'm, like you can in Editor when you do videos, but I can't do that with a live video. You guys have any questions or anything? You want anything to talk about? Nothing? You just watching Kevin play Call of Duty on Twitch right now? Even when we come home, our lives belong to the world. We don't mind. We spend 24 hours a day together, 365 days a year. It does not hurt our feelings to come home and do things separate from one another. So this weekend we are playing at the barn in Paint Fork. And we're playing with a band called Artemis Pyle is the headliner. So, and then we also have another band called Twisted Trail. So curious to check all that out. The owner of the barn asked me to bring him back a Sturgis shirt, so I've got one for him. Sturgis was interesting this year. About the time that it was getting started, I was just wrapping up. I was pretty much done. It was an easy Sturgis for me, but still a ton of shows. I was doing 4 shows a week, which turns out that's kind of like all my throat can do, I think. Like it's always, to me, I'm always pushing myself to see what I can, handle. And that was about all I could handle. Because at that point, I wasn't, I was getting to the point where, I couldn't nail it anymore. It was like a survival instead of, slay. I would rather slay than survive. So I've noticed that, on my YouTube lives, a lot of people view, but not a lot of people subscribe. So I really would love it if you guys would subscribe to our channel. It's the same with Facebook. When I do my Facebook lives on there, people are all logging in. I'm getting great numbers of viewing, but nobody's really following our page. So if you don't mind, head on over and subscribe, because that does help me grow the channel, and that's ultimately what I'm trying to do. Well, that and share recipes, because I'm also doing that. Alrighty. I'm almost done with this massive radish. Jesus. Maybe I should have done that beforehand and not made you suffer. Sitting here watching me cut this whole damn thing. Wow, that's a lot. All right. Get in there. Get in there. Now let's see how many, we need some matchstick carrots too. This is hilarious. 4.9 ounces. Okay. 4.9 ounces of carrot. Let's go. These ones are already cut like matchsticks for me, and I appreciate that. Thank you, grocery store. Let me just put the whole thing on there, see what it is. All right. Ooh, that's pretty close. 320. 450. 4.6, 4.7, 4.8. 4.9. All right. In the soup. All right. So we've got this beautiful creation. And I'm just going to get in there and move it around and get that fish sauce and salt on everything. Because I really want it to break down this radish and make it a little more, like a little softer. I really need that brine to do its thing. All right. Okay, so there it sits. Wash off the fish smell. Korean fish sauce is a lot more pungent than regular fish sauce. Pungent. All right. Let's see how this did. So this is what this stuff looks like. It's, you see, it's very gelatinous. It looks like a pectin almost, or a, yeah, that's what I would call it. I'm still trying to get some of those bumps out. And it's still cooling, so we're going to let it continue the process while we continue to chop vegetables, because we still have a lot of that to do. All right, so it asks for some minced garlic and also some ginger. Ginger is a huge in here. So garlic and ginger, I'm trying to see how much of each I need. My ghost has just informed me that it's here and watching. So that's cool. So we need a 1/4 cup of minced garlic. That's a lot. And what I do is I use the elephant garlic, like the big, giant garlic cloves. I had 2 of them set out. Here they are. Just like this. I know it asked for minced, but last time I did I grinded it, and I thought that worked out like a lot better. So because it just doesn't, you don't get like that weird chunk that's in there. It's kind of melds throughout a little bit better. So I'm just gonna get started on that. And I have this little grinder. I'm about to you can use the pre-minced garlic. I just like the fresh. Trust me, I have tons of that pre-minced garlic too. But I really wanted it more like ground, just so that it would go throughout, because nobody wants a big old chunk of, well, not nobody, I wouldn't mind, but not everybody loves it when you have a big old chunk of garlic. And I'm kind of crazy about garlic. I really love garlic, so I'm probably going to add this entire thing. But I'm going to grind it. It's going to get ground. Another thing in this recipe, it asks you to grind down your onion, because it says you could use like a regular onion. I'm using green onions, and they're just going to add to the stuffing, so I'm not going to grind those. I know, I'm changing all the rules. Hey, Kev.
Hey.
How's it going? Did you kill a bunch of people?
Some. A few good matches and a few not so much.
No?
Got a win on the first night, so.
Good for you.
Man, 7 kills and
How much do you win when you win?
nothing. It's for the streaming.
I know.
You got a subscription.
Hey!
That's what it's about. Keeping our social media alive.
Yep. So have you decided if we're streaming tonight?
I don't know. Depends on what I get done today, I guess. How long I'm going to be out here doing all this.
So your part has not arrived yet.
I know. My part has not arrived yet.
The fuel pump went out of the lawnmower. So our grass is just growing, knowing full well it can get away with it right now.
It'll be here today at some point.
At some point.
What is that?
Do you want to start on the porch before we do that, or you want to mow first and then porch?
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Are you worried about getting grass on the porch after you clean it off?
No, because then I'll blow it off. I mean, there's a half a day just getting the shit off the porch. Back the bikes up.
Half a day? It takes you half a day to take everything off the porch?
I'm making it. There's so much shit on the porch.
It really isn't. There's a bunch of cushions and goodness, Kevin.
There's
Okay.
a lot of shit on the porch.
No.
We have guitar strings. We have guitar strings, tile.
The tile's got to go away.
The tile, a bucket of horseshoes,
All right.
more tile.
I'm grinding. I just discovered this actually when I was making tikka masala, that I really love this because it just makes it meld throughout. I just like having it this way. So I'm grinding it. Do you hear that? Made like an emergency run to the bathroom. Everything's an emergency. Why do you just like run? Scared me for a while there. Scared me for a second. All right. Don't get your finger caught in there because nobody wants shredded thumb. All right, little tiny piece. So that one clove give you about this much. We're only looking for a quarter cup, so it might not take this whole thing. But I love a lot of garlic, so. Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Putting on clothes.
Are you wearing pants today?
I have to. I'm going outside.
Oh my God.
Can't get away from it today.
Can't escape. Pants are a must today. Our rice mixture is still cooling, so I'm not in a hurry right now. Taking my sweet ass time. You know, at some point, Kevin, we have to do a photo shoot today.
Oh, yeah.
I got to put my wedding dress back on.
There you go. He's going to paint that on. He's going to paint all of it. He just needs you to pose for reference.
Come on, Kevin. I'm gonna put my wedding dress back on.
If you want to.
Wouldn't you be excited to see me back in my wedding dress?
I would rather, well, only if I can relive taking you out of it.
We didn't have any of that fun on our wedding night. We were tired. We were hella tired. So I have this much garlic And I think that's a pretty good amount. That's about a quarter cup. We can find out for sure. Oh yeah, perfect. Quarter cup. It's perfect. All right. Next, our ginger. And the ginger it asks for mince too, but I'm gonna grind it too because it's just so porous. It works better. And this wants ginger, half teaspoon. Usually what I do is just take my ginger and a spoon and just kind of scrape the outside of it. You can use like a vegetable peeler too, but just use a spoon and kind of peel all the skin off the outside. I'm using a piece that's probably about the size of 2 thumbs for me, or maybe 1 of Kevin's. My hands are small. I have really tiny hands. They're really strong though. Hey Kevin, do you think you could beat me in an arm wrestling contest? Yeah.
Pretty tough, but I think I could beat you. Just not with my right arm because I can't do that.
Yeah, I know. I would kick your ass with that one.
I don't know why it's still weird.
All right, I'm just gonna grind this right into the same bowl as the. I guess I just have to eyeball about a half. Oh, still, I'm just checking for messages. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Come on, ginger. Oh, it smells really good. We should start candy. We should candy ginger. Have you ever candied ginger?
No, I haven't.
Because we always use it and then we waste so much because we don't do enough recipes, you know?
We should just use it more or buy it less.
Well, it's not like you can, I mean, when you buy it, they bring you a giant root. There's nothing like, you can't say, break off 6 ounces.
We tend to buy it more than we need it.
No, we don't. I buy it every time that I make something that I need it for.
I used to make more cocktails with ginger.
Maybe you do need to make more cocktails. Yes. Maybe, Kevin.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Kevin needs some food before he goes out there in the heat.
I have about a half a tablespoon, but I just have this much left. I'm just going to grind it on in there. When it comes to like garlic and ginger, I'm not really concerned with adding too much. I'm more concerned with adding too little. What do you got?
More.
Did you have your protein shake this morning?
Mm-hmm.
How was it? Vanilla-y? Our girl messed up. We do Instacart and they brought us vanilla instead of strawberry. The vanilla ones are not very good protein shakes. You could probably add something to them though.
They're fine.
Okay. Well, there it is. Ground ginger and garlic. And it smells amazing. And I think it's about time to add our red pepper flakes. So turn our hands off. Let's get this going. I'm gonna use this big old bowl up here. And now that our rice mixture is jelly, can you see that? I don't want to dump it out. But that is exactly the way you want it to look. In you go. Have some fun in there. And then I'm just going to add my red pepper flake to it. And that's cooled off really nice. So I think we get, how much of this do we need? Oh, 1.5 cups. So, perfect. I'm going to use, I know I had I'm sitting here, I just can't find anything because I keep moving it. So what did I do with that? Goodness. Oh well, we're gonna get close enough. I'm sure I'll find it later when I move everything out of the way. Ouch. Yep. All right. I'm using a 1/4 cup. So I need 6 of these. 1, 2. Hopefully I have enough. 3. See that? Can you see? 4. I got plenty. 5. 6. I didn't quite get a full in there, so there we go. All right, that is amazing. Let me show you what that looks like here. And then we are just gonna stir that. I'm gonna use the same thing I had for the tasty. Kimchi baby. You're my kimchi baby. All right, so this is what we got now. We got like a really thick paste. All right. And that's what you want. So I'm going to continue. I've got some chives here that I want to finish up. I only need a few ounces. I need like 3 ounces, but I'm just going to chop them all and go for it. You can add all kinds of greens to this. You can add mustard greens or chives or, leeks. Some people put leeks in it. You can add about anything. And I'm just going to throw this actually in with the vegetables I've already got because it's all going together now anyway. And that's sat long enough. I just keep kind of mixing it around so it can continue to get a little more broke down. Yeah. And then I've got my onions. It only needs 2.6 ounces of onion, but again, with the greens of this, you can add more. And I'm contemplating how I want to do this because I'm not going to grind it. So I may slice it long ways and just make it more like the matchsticks like we did, because then that way it can blend a little better. I'm making some last minute changes. I'm changing it up for my mood, which is never unusual. I change a lot of stuff up last minute. And the next time I make this, I might not make it the same. But that's the fun thing about kimchi. It's all an experiment. I do really want to try one sometime with the shrimp, salted fermented shrimps. That's traditional, and I would like to do that. I just need to find somewhere where I can get those. I think I can get it on Amazon as well, but I haven't really searched for it. And when we first got started, it was like out of stock, so I didn't get any, and it was delicious. So while I do this in front of you, I want to show you something that I know has been tried and tested and is delicious, so that I don't steer you wrong. Yeah. Whoop. Things move fast. I saw like I'm all about kitchen gadgets. I have like this kitchen gadget fetish, and they have these kitchen gadgets that will like you can drag these things like through, and it just splits perfectly and into a bunch of pieces. And I'm kind of obsessed with that. But then it's like, oh, we're gonna use that like once a year, probably. Is it still worth it? Yeah. And the reason I decided to try this is because I was looking at our friend sent us a recipe from his Korean aunt, and it was for Korean cucumbers because they pickle cucumbers. Like I don't know if you've ever been to a Korean barbecue or place or anything like that, but they usually bring you like all these different meats and you cook them yourself at the table, and then you get like they just bring out all these side dishes, and the sides can be like these pickled cucumbers. There's kimchi, of course. There's just like all these kind of little vegetable things, and they're all very delicious, and most of them are pickled. And so she sent him this recipe, and he forwarded it to Kevin, and then Kevin insisted that this go on the menu. So I'm making those cucumbers later, but I noticed in his recipe that they cut all their onions this way. They sliced them all to where they were long ways like that. So I was like, you know what? If they're doing that for the cucumbers, maybe I'll just do that for the kimchi itself. I don't know. We might be scrapping our entire kitchen setup and just having a kimchi barbecue or like a Korean barbecue setup. We just have like one table, like 8 chairs at it, and like the little individual barbecues that are there. We're just cooking away. Nah, I can't do that. I went through too much shit trying to get my grill. Do you guys see the fiasco with my grill that I got? I bought a grill over the 4th of July at Lowe's, and they sent me like this floor model, and I didn't notice it right away because it was like started to rain when they arrived. So I just covered it. I had a grill cover that was made for it, so I just covered it. And of course, I had to leave and go on the road, so I didn't get back until a week or so later. And I went and uncovered the grill to go, prep it and season it and get it ready for use. And that's when I realized it was covered in rust, and it said, display model, do not sell. And I was like, holy shit. I've spent $500 on a grill that looks like it's about to fall apart. It's all gross. So I was pissed, and I was like, I need a new grill. I'm done with, I didn't pay that much money for a used grill. And they put me through the ringer, man. I think, I don't even know how many calls I had to make, but it was a lot. And I finally got someone to say, we'll go ahead and refund you, but you're going to keep that grill because we don't have any new models. So I had spent 6 hours just cleaning the ever-loving shit out of that grill. And I've got it looking like new. It looks good. Like I had to go in and put like the baking soda down, and so I put like baking soda all over all the rust, and then I put Dawn dish soap, and then you put like a paper towel over it and throw some white vinegar on it, and it does this little magical chemistry experiment fun. and then it pulls all your rust off stuff. So, and I mean, I tried I was scraping. I had a wire brush out there. I was going to work, man, and it was just taking forever. So 6 hours later, I'm finally got that grill cleaned. So I can't turn my kitchen into a Korean barbecue yet because I'm still not over what I had to do for that stupid grill. Okay. All right, I'm putting my garlic ginger mixture in here as well. It is time to join the party. Now there's a few more things I know I need. I know I need a little bit of sugar. 2 tablespoons of raw sugar. I don't have raw sugar. I just have normal sugar, I think. Maybe I have raw. I have raw brown sugar. But I'm just going to use regular. It's only 2 tablespoons. That's flour. I got a mess, you guys. I need help with my mess. Maybe I am using organic brown sugar. All right. Okay. That's what I'm using. 2 tablespoons. There you are. 1, 2. In you go. Glancing over to make sure I didn't miss anything. That's it. All right, that's it. So we got all our vegetables in here. We got our paste in here, and they're all going to go together now. And then I'm going to use my hand, and I know like some people are going to want, you're going to want to put on a glove for this. It can smell pretty amazing. If you don't like fish sauce smell, you're probably going to be happier putting gloves on. But I'm just going to get in there and give it hell. And that fish sauce and salt on the bottom is really helping to give this paste a little bit looser because it got pretty thick, you know. So that way your paste is kind of getting more distributed as you mix it. It's starting to look like this, coming together. Yeah. Hey, Rob, I'm making kimchi. And you're right, nothing wrong with switching stuff up. I just want to make sure that I get all that ginger and garlic that I just ground up in throughout. I want to make sure that we get a little bit of everything all the way through. And I've tried to use like spoons or mixing stuff like that, but your hand really just is the best way to do this. And it's looking like that, see? Okay. I'm moving some stuff because now is when things start to get real messy. Now, enter the dragon. I'm going to try to do this one-handed so I don't touch anything. But here is our cabbage. And I brined it last night. And now I am going to see if I can pull this down so you can see a little better what I'm doing. Because I'm going to take these individually out. First, I want to get all this out from underneath because that was just to absorb water. But I think we're pretty good and dry at this point. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull all this paper towel out. get it out of my way because we're about to get messy up in here. Grab a quarter, just like this. Grab a little bit. Now, here's the thing. You mostly just want to get like that paste on there. These little guys in between, you're trying to stuff in between the leaves. It's not necessary that you get a ton of stuff between it. Just kind of work a little in at a time. You're mostly just trying to get this paste on there, right? So make sure you go all the way down the leaf, especially these little guys because they get left out and then they're sad. You don't want sad kimchi leaf. You don't want sad anything in this. Kimchi is supposed to be happy. So I'm taking it and I'm just getting right in, like really deep inside there. And then just taking like the paste part of it and taking it down the leaf. Boom. Just like that. Going in. And like I said, I tried this recipe the last time and like the amount worked out just about exactly right. Now I'm only doing one side of this because obviously when you lay it down, it's going to get the back side of the leaf anyway. So, and then I just give him a little thing. And then what I just kind of do is fold it over on top of itself like that and set it aside and on to the next. So just really rub that paste. And you'll know like as you're getting through these, whether you have more or less, you can go back and kind of add to some of those you might have skimped on a little bit, but you really don't need a ton of it. And now you see why it's so important to have those tiny matchsticks because it just doesn't fit in there. That's a lot for that one. But he's a big old leaf, so I'm going to use him to hold everything together. And then do a little glaze on this guy. Can you guys see okay? You guys see all right? All right, now I'm taking him, folding him over, just like that, and then I'm going to move him over. I got a few random leaves that just kind of, they're their own thing, so I'm just going to do them separately and then add them to the party a little later. This is the part I wish I could speed up because it's pretty boring. Just packing each of these leaves kind of individually, running my hand over the rest of them, making sure that I get a little bit of that pepper powder on everything. Get that paste way in there. This leaf is not attached either, I just noticed, so I'm going to be really careful with him when I fold him over. And get way down inside there. Way down inside. One more you need. All right. Yes. Don't be in a hurry with this stuff either. Just take your time. This whole process is pretty therapeutic, honestly. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I imagined myself like in a Korean village somewhere where like everybody's like gathering together to make kimchi for the winter. I take my sweet time with this. But I love cooking anyway, so I take my time with cooking unless I have like a ton of people here waiting on me and then I obviously have to hurry it up because people are hungry. I'm gonna get my bowl a little closer, maybe. Duh. You won't spill so much. Learn something new every day. All right. So like I said, the traditional way of fermenting kimchi is actually in the ground. They would make this and then bury it. I don't know how that works. I've never seen that, but that sounds interesting. I mean, people are always talking about like preparedness and like, oh, what would you do if, you couldn't get groceries? Because I've asked grocery stores before, like one time I remember asking them like, hey, if the shit hit the fan, and this was during COVID, I said like if the shit hit the fan and like no more trucks could come in and they couldn't get groceries here, I was like, what length, like how many days worth of food do you think you guys would have? And they're like a day, maybe two, before it's completely gutted. And I mean like everything's gone. So that puts things into perspective. And I mean kimchi is like pretty healthy food. You could probably live off kimchi if you had to. It's pretty healthy. Folding over. I think it was funny because I remember talking to this woman one time and she was like, if I had enough wine and nuts, I think I could survive for like a couple years. And I was like, I'm coming to your house. Because she's just like planning on getting drunk the whole time. She's already told me. She's like, I'm gonna have a shitload of wine. She doesn't even drink wine right now. That's the best part. She's just preparing. She's got like a huge wine cellar just in case. She's just gonna get drunk and watch the world burn, I guess. Remember Rhonda Weaver?
Yeah.
So funny.
You probably should put on gloves for you to do that.
Well, we discussed that. I didn't use gloves last time. Is there a reason?
Just so you don't have all of your fingers.
Do you think my hands are not clean?
I did wash them. The spicy stuff is going to be all over your hands.
What? What are you saying? You don't want to fool around right now?
Yeah, I do. You just can't touch me. This fucking porch is covered in dirt.
I know.
I got everything off. Holy cow, it's never been this bad. Nasty.
I promise you, at some point, it's been that bad. All right. How's it looking so far? Are you guys impressed? I don't even know. I mean, one person watching. All right. Get in there. Well, that's all right. This is educational purposes. You can always come back to this. No, everybody's probably at work right now. I'm going to start using a little bit more because I realize I still have quite a bit left. So I'm going to go in there and I might even go in and grab some of these other ones that look a little light and just add more. It's probably going to make these a lot spicier. All right. I'm just going to get these and kind of roll them up. Some leftovers. We're getting there. 2 more small pieces left here. Ooh. All right. It's funny, like growing up, if you would have told me when I was a child, like kimchi would be one of your favorite things, I'd be like, no way. Nope. Lo and behold, here I am. You want some help?
I need something to, hey, what's this? Old crown molding.
Well, it's not old.
Well, it's cheap. This is fixing to be a tomato stick.
Got it.
I need to tie that big one up out here to this. If not, I can't use chemicals on the porch because it'll kill it.
All right. All right. We are getting there, guys. This is the last one. Feel free to speed up through this whole process. Once it's posted, it'll be much easier than when it is live. You just broke my tomato plant. It's Kevin. That's mine, everybody. Hands off, ladies. All right. Well, that's the last of it. So that's a mess. Let me try to move some stuff. Try to clean up my space here a little before I proceed. All right. Looking good. We didn't even make a huge mess on the floor this time. Just one small piece, which I am making because I destroyed the floor last time. I dropped so much stuff on the floor. That wasn't bad at all. All right. Now we have this. So all of this has been covered in our amazing sauce, and this is where it gets a little tricky for me because I don't have as many dishes as I really need to do this. So bear with me while I work on getting something down here. I'm using a Pyrex just because it's glass. I wanted something to glass to age it in. There, maybe you can see a little bit. So I have these Pyrex dishes here that are all glass and airtight. And so that is what I'm going to use to store. And since this is my biggest one, I'm going to get the biggest pieces and throw them in here. My goal is to try to get these two and maybe like the rest of these little pieces in here. And I'm going to just kind of start arranging these because I'm going to leave these on the counter for like 2 days. What's the smallest one I got? This guy is going in here. And I think I can fit now. That ain't gonna work. That guy isn't going in there. Should have took this off first, but I didn't. All right. Bless you. And again. Kevin's sneezing his ass off. You all right?
Sneezy.
What?
Said sneezy. Stirred up a lot of dust out there.
All right. I wish I had containers that were a little bit bigger than this, but this is what I've got. So I'm putting the lids on these. They will be airtight. And these will sit on my counter for the next 48 hours, fermenting. And then I will chop them all up and I will put them into quart jars and lids and then store them. This makes about 6 quarts worth. And you could store it in your refrigerator for, they say typically about like 4 to 6 months refrigerated, which is pretty damn good. If you have a cool cellar space or something of that sort, you could probably keep it down there for the same amount of time, 4 to 6 months, just somewhere cool. When you fill your quart jars, only fill them like 70 to 80% full because these will continue to ferment while they're in the jars. So just make sure you don't overfill them. I might come back on here when I get ready to do that and just run you through it so you can see. But yeah, that's it. And I didn't even make too bad of a mess. So this just sits here in this corner. It's going to ferment for 2 days. And then I'll be back to put them in the jars. And in the meantime, I'm going to get started on my cucumbers. I'm going to pickle some cucumbers. So hope you guys got something out of that. And if you do love kimchi, really give this a shot. I'll tell you what I will do in the description. I will go in and edit and put the entire ingredients list so that you can follow the instructions that are on there along with making it. So let me go add that. And thanks for hanging with me. I'll see you later.